ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु, सहनौ भुनक्तु, सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै, तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां हयग्रीवमुपास्महे। ॐ श्री हयग्रीवाय नमः। ॐ श्री वल्लभा समेत श्री महागणाधिपतये नमः। So we were looking at the topic of anubhuter drshyatva-anupapattih, and in this context we were having this argument, okay, about whether Atma is the Pramata or not. Okay, because the Vishishtadvaitins are saying there is Atma, which is the Pramata, which is the knower. Then knowledge is the separate Jnanam or Samvit. Then Vishaya is there. So here Atma is Jnana Ashraya or the knower also. So because the Jnana Kriya takes place separately, the Kriya always requires an Ashraya. Guna and Kriya cannot be there by themselves. They require an Ashraya or a locus. That locus is this Atma. Now, here finally what did we establish? And again that knower only is indicated by the word Aham also. Atma, Aham, etc. The I actually refers to that Karta, Bhokta, you can say. That is their idea. But what do we say? We say that this Pramata also is only Antakarana Avachinna Chaitanya. Okay. The Manovritti Avachinna Chaitanya and Antakarana Avachinna Chaitanya and all we say. So Manovritti Avachinna Chaitanya is the Pramana, Vishaya Avachinna Chaitanya is the Vishaya, and Antakarana Avachinna Chaitanya is the Pramata. This is the Siddhanta. Therefore, the Aham, in Aham Janami, Aham Ghatam Janami, if you say, I know the part, the I as knower also is part of the Triputi. All the Triputi themselves are only Mithya. Atma is the one which supports all three, in fact, but it transcends also. It transcends the subject-object knowledge division. And the word Atma, Vachyartha can be Pramata, but Lakshyartha is different, we say. Correct? Lakshyartha is the Sakshi. So the last point which our author has made is here he is saying Ahamartaha Pramatu Samvidi Kalpitaha is what he is saying. Iti tad bhinnaha eva. So if you take the Ahamartha as Pramata, that Pramatritvam is only Kalpitam. It is only an appearance on the Atma. Therefore, you cannot take Atma also as a Pramata. Pramata is Atma, but Atma is not Pramata. This is the thing, again, we have to understand. This is the Satyam Mithya. B is A, but A is not B. Beggar is actor, actor is not beggar. Pot is clay, clay is not pot. Okay. So like this is the important point. In fact, this Satyam Mithya understanding is missing in many Advaitins also. Okay. It's a very subtle thing, I think. Or it looks very simple also, but somehow people complicate it and they go into lots of confusion, in fact. Okay. So, whatever is Kalpita is, in one way you can see it from the Adhisthana. So, that's why we say B is A. But the Adhisthana, in your understanding of Adhisthana, there is nothing Kalpita in that. Okay. So, Adhisthana is always separate from whatever is Kalpita. So here, finally, what he said was tata cha ahamartasya atmanaha pramatritvam adhyasikam. So this pramatritvam on the atma is only superimposed. It is adhyasikam, avidyaya adhyasikam. Samvid rupantu swabhavikam, but its true nature is only of consciousness or samvid. Swabhavikam iti siddham. So this was established finally. So now by this he is also saying one more thing is also repudiated. What is that? He is saying yetena yushmad asmat pratyaya gocharayoho iti Shri Shankara-Acharyahi eva ahamartasya atmatvam uktam iti kritva katham ahamartasya anatmatvam iti Shruta Prakashika Shanka Parasta. So Shruta Prakashikakara is raising a point saying your Shankaracharya is starting the Brahma Sutra Bhashya with what? Yushmad Asmat Pratyaya Gocharayoho Vishaya Vishayinoho Tamah Prakashavad Viruddha Swabhavayoho, like that only he is starting. So there Asmat Pratyaya is what? Aham Pratyaya only. Atma is Aham only. But now you are saying in the Ghatam Aham Janami, the Aham who is the Pramata is not Atma and all that. How can you say that? Because your Shankaracharya himself is starting the Brahma Sutra Bhashya by saying Asmat Pratyaya Gochara is Aham. Correct? Asmat means Aham only basically. That is Atma. Okay. So how can you say like this? Whatever he said is also Parasta, means it is repudiated. Okay, negated. Why? Because we have said Aham Shabda Lakshanatvam Eva. No, sorry. Aham Shabda Lakshyatvam Eva Atmanaha. Na aham shabda vachyatyam iti uktatvat iti. So it is parasta repudiated because what we have established here is that aham shabda lakshyartha is atma, not aham shabda vachyartha. Aham shabda vachyartha is ahankara only, who is karta bhokta, so who is the knower also. So that is how we have to understand that. Okay. Now again one more Purva Paksha is coming. What is that? Nanu aham janami ityadau aham arthatvena भवद अभिमतः प्रमाता किम आत्मा उत न. Okay, now they are asking, see, ghatam aham janami is there, I know the part. So aham janami, in such cognitions, what is the meaning of that aham? Okay, in your mata, in your siddhanta, what do you mean by that aham artha? What is the meaning of that aham? Because it is same as the pramata or the knower, or atma is different from the knower. Okay, that is the question they are asking. Bhavad abhimataha pramata kim atma utana. This pramata is atma or not? Okay, if you say pramata is atma, adye, then what happens? Katham tasya samvid abhedaha. If you say pramata is atma, how can that pramata atma be non-different from samvit or chaitanyam? Because samvit or chaitanyam is the jnanam. Correct? The janami part is because of the jnanam. So jnanam has to be separate from the knower and the object of knowledge. So they are holding on to that division in the Triputi, and again he is questioning how can, if you say the Atma is Pramata, then Atma has to be different from Samvit according to them. So that's what he is again saying that. So Katham Tasya Samvid Abhedaha. Dvitiye, if you say no, Pramata is not Atma, then what? Anatmanaha Pramatuhu Tasya Katham Pratyaktam. If you say this Pramata is Anatma, but you also say Pratyekatma. You people are talking about Pratyekatma also, the innermost self and all that. How can it be the innermost self? Because it will become Anatma. Atma alone is innermost then. The Pramata will not be the innermost. So like this there will be problem. And they are also defining Pratyektam in a particular manner. He is saying Pratyektam hi swasmai bhasamanatvam iti. So Pratyektam should be that one, whatever is shining for itself. is pratyaktam, he says. Okay, because paraktam means you are shining for somebody else, it seems. A ghata cannot be aware of itself, or it doesn't shine for itself. Ghata always shines in the cognition of somebody else, correct? For somebody else only. That is the paraktam. So pratyaktam means you have to shine for yourself, for the sake of yourself. Swasmai, the chaturthi here is the tadarthye chaturthi. Okay. Swasmai bhasamanatvam has to be, pratyaktam also should be associated with shining for oneself, because you don't depend on anybody else externally. Iti, so all this, now this is the Purvapaksha. Iti ma evam. So whatever is said here is not correct. Why? Now we ask one interesting question here. In fact, this argument is a very important argument. Bhashyakara also in the Brihadaranyaka Bhashya, I think at the end of the third Adhyaya, last Brahmana, I think, he raises an important point. See, the Ajna Avastha and Jnana Avastha, correct? Both two things are there. That means you are a samsari. Samsari Avastha is the Ajnana Avastha, where people are suffering. And everybody is offering moksha, correct? Dvaitin also is offering a moksha. Vishishtadvaitin is offering a moksha. Advaitin is also saying the same thing. That means there is a bandha avastha, moksha avastha. Samsari avastha, asamsari avastha. And ajnana avastha, jnana avastha. These things are all there. Everybody has to talk about that. It is common for everybody, he says. Only difference is how do you define all these things? What is ajnana for you? What is jnana for you? What is moksha for you? This is where the difference is there. But otherwise, everybody has to talk about an ajnana avastha. Why? Because even for the Dvaiti and Vishishtadvaiti, Deha is not Atma, correct? They have Vyatirikta Atma, all of them support. Or they have to, because the Shruti and Bhagavad Gita and everything is so clear on that, correct? But even for them, they have to then explain how do you have this Vyavahara based on the Deha then, correct? So that's what he is bringing in here. He is saying, so he is saying what here? Aham manusyoham gacchami ityadav yaha aham arthasya kim atma utana. So now we are asking one question to you. You are asking me about Pramata, correct? Before we go to Pramata, let's start with the body. Okay, I have a self-identity that I am a human being. Okay, then what is it based on? It is based on the Deha. But do you accept that Manushyatvam is Atma? No. So they also have to say this kind of Vyavahara is Ajnana only. You have to come out of that, correct? So Manusyoham Gachami also. Gachami is a Deha Kriya. It is not the Kriya of Atma, correct? Deha only goes. So all these things, whatever the Aham is associated with Manusyoham, Gachamyaham, all these things, that Aham Artha, is it Atma or not? You tell me. So if you say Adye, Katham Shiraf Panya Di Avayavavataha Manushya Dehasya Atmatvam. So if you say yes, here also Aham is Atma only, then Aham, how can Aham be all this Deha? Because Manushyatvam is Deha Dharma. Gachami also is the Deha Kriya. So Shiraf Panyadi Avayavavataha means that which has parts like head and feet and hands, etc. How can this Deha, which has all these parts, Avayavas, be Atma? Okay, it cannot be the Atma. The Manushya Deha itself is not Atma, even for the Dvaitin and Vishishtadvaitin, because Veda is very clearly defining Deha Vyatirikta Atma and Dehantara Sambandhi Atma, correct? These two things Veda is revealing, Bhagavad Gita is revealing. Otherwise, in fact, their whole idea of going to Vaikunta, Golok, Brindavan, wherever it is, Vishnu Loka will fall flat, correct? Because The Dvaitins and Vishishtadvaitins have only Videha Mukti. If you have only Videha Mukti, then you have to accept Deha Vyatirikta Atma. And they talk about you go there and have Salokya, Sarupya, Sayujya and all that. There also you have to take a body, then Dehantara Sambandhi Atma is also should be there then once you reach wherever you reach. Therefore, the Deha itself cannot be Atma for them also. So, Manushya Dehasya Atmatvam they cannot say. Okay. So, even they also, I think, talk about Atma Swarupa as Niravayavaha and all that. So, Atma hi Niravayavaha Jnana Swarupaha iti Sampratipannam. So, the Shruti is very clear. Gita is very clear that Atma is Niravayava. It's not an Avayavi. And it is Jnana Swarupa also. If you say it is not Atma, then you have come to our Paksha. Okay. Dvitiye Anatmanaha Tasya Katam Ahamartatvam Atma hi Ahamartaha. So if you say, no, this Dehadi are not Atma, then how did you do Vyavahara with Ahamarta associated with the Deha? You have self-identity with reference to the body, with reference to the Indriyas, with reference to the mind, with reference to the Buddhi. This is what we are saying. It is all Avidya, it is Adhyasa, correct? It is Adhyasika only. The entire self-identity is wrong superimposition, false cognition, etc. So, katham ahamartatvam atma hi ahamartaha. If atma is ahamartaha, how can you use the aham with reference to body, etc.? Okay, so for this, what yaditu manusyoham ityadi pratitihi ajnajana ashraya aviveka mula chaiti matam tarhi aham janami iti pratitihi api tatha eva astu. So now what? They also have to say what? Manusyoham ityadi pratitihi. The cognition that I am a human being, etc. is Ajnajana Ashraya. It is only for Ajnanis. This cognition is there only in Ajnanis, if you say. And this also Aviveka Mula means they have not differentiated, they have not discriminated between Atma and Anatma properly. Aviveka Mula. That is your mata. Then what? Then how is Aham Janami any different from this? Aham Gachami, if it is Deha Kriya, Aham Janami is Antakarana Kriya. Atma only you are associating with Janami. It is only a superimposition. So, aham janami iti pratitihi api tatha eva astu, we say. And further what? Yaditu manushyad bhinnaha eva atma tatra aham artaha tarhi iha api pramatuhu bhinnaha eva atma aham artaha iti abhyubhakaccha. So, further what? If atma is different from manushya deha, basically here, manushyad means. And so there again, even though ahamartha is used with reference to Manushyatvam, Ahamartha is different from Manushya, if you say. Similarly, Ahamartha is used with reference to Pramata, but Atma is still different from Pramata. Pramatuhu Bhinnaha eva Atma Ahamartaha. Like that you have to accept this. Therefore, what? Atha yaduktam pratyaktvam swasmai prakashamanatvam paraktvam parasmai prakashamanatvam tatra atma dharmaha pratyaktvam anatma deepadi dharmaha paratvam tad vicharyate. Okay, now hereafter what? Okay, up to this we have shown that even whatever you call ahamarta and all are only adhyasika. The idea that aham is doing something, or aham whatever stulaha prishaha badiraha, all these things are there. Even Bhashyakara talks about it in the Adhyasa Bhashya itself. So all this Vyavahara is all Ajnana Vyavahara. Further, now we are taking up another point into discussion. Because already he talked about Pratyektam hi swasmai bhasamanatvam, like that it was said here. Okay. with reference to the Pramata, this Pratyektam hi Swasmai Bhasamanatvam was said. That is being now taken up. Okay. So we are saying, you are saying Pratyektam is Swasmai Prakashamanatvam. Paraktam means Parasmai Prakashamanatvam. So whatever is the innermost has to shine for itself, it seems. Whatever is outer, they are all shining for whatever is there inside again. Parasmai Prakashamanatvam. They are all shining for others. This one is shining for itself. Okay. Now, this we are taking. Tatra Atma Dharmaha Pratyektam Anatma Dipadi Dharmaha Paraktam. So then they also claim that Pratyektam is Atma Dharma and Paraktam is Anatma Dharma. Even Deepa, etc. shines, but it does not shine for itself. It is shining for you only, correct? For the Atma to know something only, Pradipa is shining. So it is all Anatma Dharma. If you are shining for somebody else, you are Anatma. If you shine for yourself, or if you make yourself known, then you are Atma. If you make somebody else known something, I'm saying some Vishaya you are helping somebody else to know, then you are Parakvam you have and you are Anatma. Like this, they have an idea. This also is now, it is taken up for Vichara, analysis. Okay, now he is saying Swasmai iti Parasmai iti cha tadarthye chaturthi. So the chaturthi is generally Sampradhanam. Here it is coming in the meaning of tadarthyam, means for the sake of somebody, for the sake of something. Okay, for the purpose or use of somebody. Like that also we can use the Chaturthi, the Vibhakti. Okay. Swasmai iti Parasmai iti cha tadarthye chaturthi swartham bhasate pratyagatma parartham bhasate pradipaha. So what do they really mean is what? The pratyagatma shines for itself, for the sake of itself. But the pradipa or lamp is shining for the sake of somebody else. Parartham. So deepo hi gatadikam purushaya bodhayati. So that also is explaining the lamp is actually making you know the Purusha, a person know about Ghata, etc. part, because in darkness, part, etc. cannot be known. So the light is the one which shines the light. The lamp is the one which shines the light and makes you know, makes a person know. Therefore, what? Natu swasmai, but it doesn't know itself. The lamp has no consciousness or anything, it is insentient. So natu swasmai iti deepasya paragdhamatvam. So Deepa is called Paragdhama because of this, they are saying. Okay. Paragdhamatvam. Atma tu Ghatadikam Swasmai Bodhayati iti Pratyak Dhama. But what does Atma do? It makes this Ghata, etc. known to itself. Okay. It is shining for the sake of itself means what? It makes the Atma, etc. known to itself because it is sentient. And that's why it is innermost also, it is said. Okay. Pratyaktam is now connected to Swasmai Bodhakatvam. Now here he is taking an interesting kind of argument. Okay. So in fact they are quoting Bhagavata also here. Ata eva pratyak dhama swayam jyotihi iti Bhagavatam iti. So the swayam jyoti Atma is pratyak dhama. It is the innermost dhama. Okay. But it is the greatest. But they are giving this Bhagavata quotation also as some kind of a support for their contention here. Iti Vishittadvaitinam Praghoshaha. So they are making a big ghosha, it seems. Proclamation. But what does our author say? He says, Naisha Yuktaha. It is not tenable, it's not proper. Why? Kimayam Sishyebhyaha Kimapi Matam Upadishan Guru Ramanujaha Pratyak Dhama Kimva Parag Dhama. So now he is asking, see, your Guru Ramanuja is there. He has his own mata, his own some opinion, Siddhanta, and he is teaching his Sishyas. So when he is making this jnanam, his matam known to his sishyas, he is a pratyak dhama or parag dhama. Correct? There is a question comes. Because light also makes you know, but you say light is parag dhama. So when the guru is teaching the sishya, guru is pratyak dhama or parag dhama. So now if you say adye katham parebhyaha shishyebhyaha mata bodhakatvam tasya. But if you say no, guru is pratyak dhama only, because guru is atma. But then how can he then teach others? He will become parag dhama if he is teaching others. Correct? Parebhyaha shishyebhyaha tasya mata bodhakatvam katham we are asking. How can then he teach others? Then now he is actually lighting up or making others know something. Dvitiya, if you say no, he is parag dhama because he is teaching others, then katam tasya atmatvam, atma hi pratyak dhama. So according to you, atma is pratyak dhama. Now if you say no, he has parag dhamatvam means then he cannot be atma. So how are you going to answer this? Now, now they are saying no, nacha guru shishyaha, guruhu shishyascha, eka eva atma iti vachyam. So you cannot say guru and shishya are the same atma. Why? Atma vedat tava mate. In your mata, there are many atmas are there, many jivatmas are there. Therefore, you cannot say atma is teaching itself, therefore it is pratyak dhama. You cannot say that. We can say that, in fact, Advaitins can say, okay. So now what? Also further what? Nacha atmabhyaha gata dehe bodhakatvam pratyaktam iti vachyam. Okay. See, this teaching all these different atmas, whatever, anything else, correct? Gatadi, the external objects or any other thing, that itself is pratyaktam, we now say. It's not that you have to teach for yourself alone, teaching it for any self. Okay, atmabhyaha, gatadehe bodhakatvam itself is pratyaktam, if you say. Then Deepadi also will have pratyaktam. So he is saying, no, Deepadehe api tarhi pratyaktvat. Deepadi also will get pratyaktam because it is making other atmas know, correct things. So you can't say Deepa is paragdhama, but initially you said Deepa etc. are paragdhama because it is making others know things. So tepi hi atmabhyaha eva gatadikam bodhayati. They are also, the Deepa etc. also are only making different atmas know gata etc. Okay, so once we say like this, what? Nanu yo gatadikam artham swayam buddha parasmai bodhayati tat pratyak dhama iti chet. Okay, now what they are saying, no, the one who first makes himself known, okay, about gata etc. And later on if he teaches others, then he is still pratyak dhama, we can say. If you say that, then what? Even that doesn't fit here, okay? Na etad upapadyate, that is also not tenable here. Why? Yaha gatadikam artham swayam buddhyate natu parasmai bodhayati tasya atmanaha pratyaktva abhava prasangat. So the one the one who is knowing by himself gatadika etc. Okay, swayam buddhyate, but does not teach others. Then what? For him, what? Tasya atmanaha pratyaktva abhava prasanga will come. He is saying he will not be pratyak. Why? Pratyaktam will not be there for anymore. Why? Because we are asking kimcha atma swasmai ghatadikam bodhayati iti uktau ekasyeva atmanaha guru shishya bhavaha praptaha sana yuktaha. Why? Because if you say the guru has known things by himself and then only he is teaching others, how did he know himself? Because the same person cannot be the guru and shishya in one entity. Both gurutvam and shishyatvam cannot be there. Like this he is arguing. So ekasyeva atmanaha guru shishya bhavaha praptasya na yuktaha, that is not proper. Tasya dvinishtatva, guru has to be one entity, shishya is another. Bodhaka kale, bodhya abhavat, bodhya kale, bodhaka abhavat cha. So when you are teaching, you are not knowing it yourself, you are teaching it for others. And when you are listening from somebody, then you are not teaching, you are only listening. Correct? Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, and all, if we say for jnana, the Shrota is not the one who is teaching, uh, one who is talking about it or giving you the knowledge. So there has to be difference between these two. Therefore, what apicha swasmai gatadikam bodhayan ayam atma kim bodhanat prag gatadikam veda utana veda. So further he is saying also, what he is saying, apicha swasmai gatadikam bodhayan. You said that he learnt gata etc. whatever is the subject matter by himself. Okay. So learning that this atma, before learning this, correct? Kim bodhanat prag gatadikam veda utana. Did he know this gata etc. before, or he did not know? Because he is teaching it himself, you are saying. Now, adye vertham punar bodhanam. See, if he already knew gatadika and again he is making it known to himself, means it is vyartha. Punar bodhanam is not required. Dvitiye, if he did not know and you say that he made it known to himself, that is not possible, because how can the one who did not know it make it know? So, dvitiye bodhanasya eva asambhavaha. He cannot make himself known if he starts as an ignorant person. In fact, this argument even my Guruji used to give with reference to this who am I question. Okay. Because many people think that this who am I is like a mantra they keep on repeating. No, that also will not work, because the one who is asking is ignorant, correct? Just by asking the question, the answer will not come. Even Ramana did not mean it that way, because if you read his Who Am I book and all that, he is making a clear difference between Atma and Anatma there. Atma Anatma Viveka is to be done. But like Bhashyakara says in the Mundaka Bhashya, that is a very subtle thing, and Swatantriyena na kuryat is the best advice. And even Ramana talks about you should have a guru, etc. Although he abstracts that guru to the self itself finally, which is also okay in one way. But we cannot say that you don't require any guru. Just questioning yourself, who am I, itself is good, we cannot say. Because the questioner is ignorant. Ignorant questioner cannot make himself know this. There is no pramana for that person. Okay. So, or you have to take Ramana himself as guru and whatever his vakya as the pramana, and if you follow that, you have arrived at a certain knowledge, etc. But even there, it is not that just by questioning you have not arrived at. You have to do a proper vichara based on a pramana. So the pramana vichara is very important, and for that the guru is required. If you are ignorant yourself, you cannot make yourself known also. Bodhanasya eva sambhavaha. Therefore, what? Tasmad Atma Ghatadikam Avabhasayati Ityetavadeva Vaktavyam Natu Twasmai Avabhasayati Iti. So, what we can say is Atma is the Avabhasaka. It shines and makes things known. What? But everything other than itself, correct? The Ghatadikam part, etc., the Atma shines, and because of the light of Atma alone, they are all shining and they are all cognized. They become evident, correct? Atma makes everything evident. We can say that. That is the avabhasanam we are talking about here. But it is not making itself evident and all that. It's not, it cannot shine on itself. In fact, that itself will be a kartri karma virodha also. Bhashyakara talks about this in the Swayam Jyoti Brahmanam. Understand that, because the Purva Paksha is raised in the Brihadaranyaka Bhashya also, 4th chapter, 3rd Brahmana, that how can Atma, if you say Atma is Swayam Jyoti, does it not know itself? That question comes there. And Bhashyakara answers, no, Atma doesn't know itself in the sense that as an object, like knowing everything else. Atma simply shines. That is what we call as Swayam Jyotihi. This Atma which is shining is not making itself into an object of knowledge or anything like that. Understand that. Self-knowledge is not like that. That is why it is the most subtle also and difficult. You have to know something without objectifying it, because it need not be objectified. That is the whole idea. But all your life you have known things only by objectifying it, correct? So you are when we come to this Atma Vidya also, your tendency is to objectify yourself and know somehow. You are imagining if the Shruti says you are like space, then you are imagining you are spreading everywhere in space, correct? Or you are Ananta. That's not the idea. Even if you imagine, visualize and all that, that is all Nedam Edidam Upasate. Nedam Edidam Upasate only. Whatever you visualize is not Atma. You are the visualizer always, correct? Whatever you experience is not Atma. You are the Atma is experiencer's Swarupa. So you have to know Atma as it is. In fact, the only way to know Atma is to give up all these wrong notions. Neti Neti is the only way. Okay. So that is the beauty here. So you cannot say that Swasmai Avabhasayati and all is not proper. Atma shines and makes everything evident. That much we can say. Okay, now he is saying Nacha Deepadav Ativyaptihi. Deepadehe Gatadi Avaraka Tamo Nivarakatva Rupameva Avbhasakatvam. Okay, once we say Atma is an Avbhasaka and it makes this Gata etc. known, now they are coming and saying what? But the definition you have given will have Ativyapti into Deepa, because Deepa also makes things known, makes things evident, means it doesn't have Ativyapti there, because Deepa the only facilitate by removing darkness. They cannot give the Spuranam. The Spuranam that I know, correct, something, that can only come from consciousness, which is Atma. The Spurti, Satta Spurti comes from only Atma. Deepadi are removing Avarana, like darkness, etc., which is fine. So Deepa Dehe Gatadi Avaraka Tamo Nivarakatvam only they have. In that way, you can call them Avabhasaka, but not truly, because only Atma gives Satta and Spurti. So he is saying Natu Gata Dehe Spurti Pradatva Rupam Avabhasakatvam iti. So what we are talking as Avabhasakatvam is Spurti Pradatvam, means it becomes evident. It has to be known. Deepadi cannot do that. Only Atma. In fact, Deepadi themselves are known to Atma, correct? Atma only. That's why we say this Natatra Suryo Bhati Na Chandra Tarakam and all we say, correct? It's very clear. Upanishad is making that very clear. Even Surya and Chandra, etc., they do not have any bhasa by themselves. So they are all Anubhati only. Only Atma alone, Bhati. Everything else is Anubhati, Anubhati, Anubhati. So Spurti Pradatvancha Gata Dehe Spurati iti Pratiti Vishayatva Janakatvam. So what do we mean by Spurti Pradatvam? Means this, that I know this as an object. I cognize, it is an object of my cognition, correct? That means it becomes a Vishaya. Purti iti Pratiti iti Vishayatva Janakatvam. So the Spurti and Pratiti and all, cognition or Spuranam also you can take it as cognition, or how do I translate it to English? You can take it as making it evident. Okay. All this is nothing but something is becoming an object of your cognition. So that Vishayatva Janakatvam only. That is the Spurti Pradatvam. So finally he is saying, I am Bhavaha. This is what we are meaning here. What is that? Jadasya Mithya Bhutasya cha Ghatasya Swataha Spurti Sattayoho Abhava. So Gata etc. do not have Satta and Spurti by themselves. Okay. Abhavat Atma Chaitanya Amshayoho Spurti Sattayoho Anugamadeva Sanghataha Spurati Gataha iti Vyavaharaha. So this Atma's Satta and Spurti, that Amsha we say, because Amsha is said here because it is all Upahita, correct? It's not really, Atma is not giving anything or whatever. Whatever Atma, Satta and Puranam only is manifest in every Vishaya. Then only the Vishaya becomes, Vishaya is there, correct? Isness and knownness, correct? Satta and Spurti. These two are coming only from Atma. So whenever we say something we are cognizing, we are saying it is really what is that? So Ghatam Janami means Ghata Vishaya Chaitanyam Asti. Correct? In Sanskritam we have to say. What consciousness is in English, I say. Then you know something else. Clay consciousness is. Chair consciousness is. Table consciousness is. In all these things, the invariable consciousness is the Satta and Spurti. Correct? And that is coming only from Atma. Atma only is lending it to every Vishaya, because Vishayas are all only Namadheyam, Vikara. They don't have any existence of their own. But only because Atma is lending its own Satta and Spurti, all Vyavahara is possible in the Jagat. In the Vyavahara Jagat, all these things are possible only because Atma is lending this. Therefore, what Tatacha, Ghata Dehe, Anatmanaha, Tatta Spurti Prade Atmani Yaha Spurti Pradatva Rupa Amshasya Uchyate Ghatadi Avabhasakatvam iti. So what do we say by saying that Ghatadi Avabhasakatvam is there for Atma? Atma is the one which shines and makes everything evident means. What we really mean is that this Ghatadi which are all Anatma, and to them both Satta and Spurti is given only by this Atma. And that giving this Satta Spurti only is called as this Avabhasakatva. Okay, once we say this, what he is coming back? He is saying Nanu idam Avabhasakatvam स्वप्रकाशत्वमेव न तु प्रत्यक्त्वम् इति चेत् केन उक्तम् इदं प्रत्यक्त्वम् इति. Okay, once we say this, he is coming back and saying, no, this avabhasakatvam you have defined like this. Okay, that can be called swaprakashatvam, but it is not pratyaktvam. Somehow they are linking pratyaktvam with swaprakashatvam. Okay. So once they raise it as though it is an objection, he is asking, now who said pratyaktam is related to this? Pratyaktam is a different idea. Swaprakashatvam, avabhasakatvam are all different ideas. So there is no connection really. We are not even making any connection here. So he is saying pratyaktvam nama sarvantaratvam. So pratyaktvam means being the innermost. Sarvantaratvam. Okay. And he is even prati anchati. That from there only pratyak is coming. So prati sarvam dehendriyadikam anchati vyapnoti iti pratyak pada niruktehe. So here anchati is taking as vyapnoti. Anchati can be also taken as turning away or bending or curving and all that. So you pratyak means that is something which is away from all this, everything external. And here he is taking the also vyapnoti, that which pervades all these things also. Being the innermost, it pervades everything. Like this, the pratyaktam meaning we give, sarvam dehendriyadikam anchati vyapnoti iti pratyak pada nirukte. So the meaning of pratyak pada is like this. And what sarva vyapakatvancha sarvantaratvam eva iti atma hi sarvantaraha. So since you have to pervade everything, means you have to be in and through everything, means you are sarvantaraha also naturally. That's what he is saying. And atma alone is sarvantaraha. Correct? Yes, sakshad aparokshad atma. Yes, sarvantaratma and all that is there even in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Okay, nacha atmanaha api antaraha paramatma antaryami asti iti vachyam. Now he is saying, no, what you are saying is not correct. There is a paramatma who is there even within the jivatma. That is their idea. So there is a different separate paramatma who is the antaryami. This jivatma is not the antaryami. Jivatma is only parak with reference to the paramatma. Paramatma is the real pratyagatma that he has to say. And therefore what? You cannot say that. Why? Pratyagatmanaha eva Paramatmatvena antaryamitvaditi. It is Pratyagatma only, is Paramatma also. Okay, whoever is there in the Deha as Atma, that Deha, the Dehi is Kshetrajnam Chapimam Vidhi, Bhagavan says, correct? So there is no difference between this Pratyagatma and Paramatma. In fact, if you say Paramatma is Antaryami, then the Jivatma cannot be called as Pratyagatma itself. There will be a problem there also. And that Paramatma is having Antaryamitvam and all is fine. But it is not different from the Pratyagatma. Further what? Nanu astu idam Pratyaktvam Atmanaha tatapi swasmai bhasamanatva rupam Pratyaktvam api asti eva. Okay, now they are coming back and saying, see, you are talking about this Pratyagatma and all that, but still it has to shine for itself. Okay, swasmai bhasamanatva rupam Pratyaktam api asti eva. So it is there for Atma. It shines for itself, he is saying. You cannot say it is not shining for the sake of itself. All the objects are revealed to whom? Means Atma. So for the sake of Atma alone, all objects are getting revealed. So Swasmai Bhasamanatvam is not there, you said before. We don't accept that. Atma being Pratyak has Swasmai Bhasamanatvam. That you cannot deny. Like that he is saying. It is Asti Eva. Why? Because he is saying Swartham hi Atma Bhasate Ghatadikam. So even the whatever Ghatadi Avbhasakatvam is there for Atma, it is for itself only, correct? For the sake of itself. Swartham he is saying. Natu Paramartham eva. So this Ghatadikam which is Bhasate, it is for oneself. It is not for others. And nahi Ghatena Ghatasya kopi artaha iti. And also Ghata is not shining for the sake of itself or anything. It is shining for others only. But Atma, to which everything becomes evident, it is shining for the sake of itself, means even that we cannot accept. That's why, because we don't accept that. The Swayam Prakashatvam, we don't understand like that. It's a very important thing. So he is saying, Iti chet mayam vai Atma kevalam bhasate. Atma shines. That is its very nature. It's not for the sake of something or anything. Understand that. It's not for itself, for the sake of itself it is shining. Shining is its nature. That's it. So Atma kevalam bhasate, natu swartham bhasate, napi parartham. In fact, it doesn't shine for itself, nor does it shine for anybody else. Why? Because nahi swabhavena sampadaniyaha kaschid arthaha asti atmanaha. So for Atma, there is nothing to be gained. Correct? There is nothing to be gained for Atma, any artha, etc. for itself. Correct? So then what he's saying, napi Atma bhav, okay, swabhanena, not swabhavena, sorry. See, by shining for itself, it need not gain anything because there is nothing to be gained for this Atma. And also, na api Atma bhanena parasya kopi artha, but also Atma shining does not give anything for anything else. It is not shining for the sake of others, nor is it shining for the sake of itself, nor it is shining and revealing for the sake of the Ghata, etc. Because you cannot do anything for the sake of Ghata, etc. because they are not even sentient. They are all anatma. So, Atma bhinnasya sarvasya jadatvena arthavatva bhava. So, Atma bhinnasya sarvasya jadatvam is there. Anything anatma is jada. And for the sake of a jada, you cannot do anything. You can only do something for the sake of Chaitanya. But again, Atma being everything and Atma doesn't have anything to be gained for the sake of itself also, it doesn't need anything. And others are all jada anyway. So you cannot claim that Atma is swasmai bhasate, parasmai bhasate and all that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't shine for the sake of anybody. So, nacha evam Atma bhanasya vyarthatve tadartham Vedanta vicharaha vyartaha iti vachyam. Okay, now what they are saying, if you say that Atma doesn't shine for the sake of anybody or anything, then why are you doing Vedanta vichara? Everything is Vyartha for Atma. Atma doesn't shine for itself also. Then why are you doing all this Vedanta Vichara? Vedanta Vichara becomes Vyartha, they are saying. Shastra Anarthakyam means what do you say? You cannot say that. Na Vachyam. Why? Vedanta Vicharat Prag eva Atmanaha Bhasamanatva. See, so what we are saying is Vedanta Vichara, whether it is happening or not, Atma is always shining. Okay. Prag eva Bhasamanatvam is there. Therefore, Vedanta Vichara has to produce Bhasamanatvam in Atma. Nobody is saying. Vedanta Vichara you are doing because you are taking the Atma wrongly. Correct? Atma is shining for even the Ajnani. Atma is always shining for everybody. Therefore, Vedanta Vichara is not related to this. So what he is saying is, Nahi Atma kadachit bhati kadachin na iti vaktum shakyate. So you cannot say Atma is shining at some time, it does not shine at some other time. Correct? It is always the same consciousness. Therefore, this Bhasamanatvam has got no relationship with Vedanta Vichara. So further he is saying nirvikaratvat atmanaha bhana rupatvat. So Atma is nirvikara and it is of the nature of consciousness. Therefore, it is always the same. It doesn't change. Yad rupam yad rupena yan nischitam bhavati tanna vyabhicharati. It doesn't change. Therefore, it is Satya in fact. So then why do we do Vedanta Vichara? Means he is answering that. Vedanta Vicharastu bhasamane अपि आत्मनि यः प्रतिभासते मनुष्योऽहम् इत्यादि अनात्म तादात्म्य भ्रमः तस्य अपनयनाय एव. So very clear. So why do you do Vedanta Vichara? Because even though Atma is shining, but then you are adding something there, super pratibhasanam he is saying. So pratibhasikam and all we say, correct? Certain things are appearing. What is appearing? Manusyoham, I am a man. So ityadi, manusyoham, etc. All this wrong cognition and also identification with anatma, anatma tadatmya brahmaha. So the brahma which is there due to wrong self-identification, to remove that alone, Vedanta Vichara is done. Tasya apanayanaya natu apurva atma bhana jananartham. It is not to create some bhanam in atma newly, correct? Which was not there before. Atma is always the same, shining in the same manner. That's why again he is saying Nityatvat Atma Bhanasya Atma Chaitanyam, Atma shining is Nitya. It is its very Swarupa. Therefore, Tasmat Kevala Bha Rupaha Sarvantaraha Pratyegatma iti Sankshepaha. So finally what? He concludes saying Atma is only of the nature of consciousness. It is there in each and everything, in and through everything, Sarvantaraha, and it is the innermost self. That's what how we have to understand. Okay, this section is very big. In fact, it still continues. We'll see that in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
Thank you so much.